Welcome to today's edition of Inside the Madden NFL. I'm your host, and today we are taking a look at the 2025 London Black Knights and doing our season preview of this team. Coming off a season in which they finished 2-15 and had the league's worst offense and defense, London is looking to improve mightily on the woes of last season. The biggest storyline of the summer for this London Black Knights team was the quarterback competition in training camp between second-year starter Randy McCoy and the second-round pick in this most recent draft, Tyson Cohen. Reports in camp were that the two quarterbacks were splitting first-team reps almost evenly throughout camp, basically alternating days as to who was playing with the starters. And from what we've been able to gather from insider reports, neither quarterback was able to truly separate themselves as the signal caller that should be the week one starter from training camp practices. Coach George McLean was hoping that preseason could give some insight as to who should be the starter heading into next season, as playing against their own defense didn't really give an edge one way or the other. From reports, Randy McCoy seemed like the more consistent quarterback at all three levels of the field with his accuracy. Many insiders rating him as pretty much a 6 out of 10 in short, medium, and deep accuracy throws throughout this preseason process, while Tyson Cohen definitely showed more upside with his feet and in the short range passing. Many insiders ranking him more like a 7 or 8 out of 10, but where Tyson Cohen really struggled throughout the summer was with his deep range passing, consistently missing targets, and that was a big part of the London Black Knight offense the season prior, was getting the very few playmakers they had the ball deep downfield due to just the inconsistency of being able to string together drives. And so it seems like that would be a much more difficult process with Tyson Cohen than maybe many fans were hoping. Most of the fans seem to be cheering for Tyson Cohen to win the starting job, but George McLean is giving both quarterbacks an equal opportunity to start, and whoever will be named as the week one starter will be on based on merit only. Just because Tyson Cohen was picked higher does not mean he automatically gets to start. We will see how they perform in the preseason to see if an edge can be gained in that portion of this preseason process. And of course, they also drafted power back Marcus Alford, who definitely showed big time playmaking ability in camp. His long speed is just something that the London Black Knights lacked the season prior, and he figures to be a big time feature for the London Black Knight offense in the season ahead. One of the best and maybe the only bright spot from the London Black Knight offense last season was Doug Odom, coming off a year in which many considered him a Pro Bowl snub after even finishing top 10 in Offensive Player of the Year conversations. He seems to be taking on a leadership role as he enters year two, trying to take rookie receiver Paul Campbell under his wing. Now, of course, Paul Campbell was somebody who was projected throughout most of the pre-draft process to go in the first round, was very productive in college, but some concerns arose about how he was utilized in college and how well that could easily translate to the NFL in terms of him becoming an instant impact player. However, Campbell has taken this mentorship very well, and he projects to be somebody that features heavily in the offense. Switching now to the defensive side of the ball. The defensive line is getting a lot of headlines here ahead of this season. Warren Owens is standing out in camp, becoming a dominant run stopping force, But just even apart from Warren Owens, the team spent 3 picks in this draft on the defensive line, including their first pick at number 2 overall in Randall. And the team is hoping to get a lot more pressure this season. Another position battle that's maybe not quite as catchy as the quarterback is that inside linebacker spot off ball next to Jamal Arnaud. Of course, incumbent starter Lastly was pretty solid last year, but the team is very excited by the athleticism of Cowan and the prospects of pairing the fastest linebacker tandem in the league is something that is very, very tempting for Coach McLean. And in fact, he has named Cowan as the Week 1 starter. The defensive backfield is a very intriguing position group for this team for this upcoming year. The team spent a first-round pick on Anthony Torrance, unsure about whether or not he would be playing corner or safety, but they've been very pleasantly surprised with his ability to play both man and zone. He's been better than they would have hoped, and McLean has stated that he's not going to let a coverage talent like that play at safety. So Anthony Torrance is listed as the Week 1 starting outside corner opposite Malik Vincent for this team. Now, Antoine Weber, who started last year, will still play a role in dime packages according to the coaching staff. And the other corner drafted, Jamal Wilcox, is slated as Week 1 starting free safety on the team. Special teams wise, there's not much drama on this team. We have the reigning kicker of the year, and his job is perfectly safe. Walsh, maybe not quite as safe with his job, but he will be back for another year. Taking a look now at how the team performed in preseason, we were unable to attain clips of preseason, but they were all 3 games played. Both potential starters got exactly 3 quarters with the starters and honestly really failed to separate themselves once again, both completing 50% of their passes. Now, Cohen was definitely more up and down. If you want the highlights, Cohen provided those. The offense seemed to play better with Cohen on the field, but McCoy, much like he was in training camp, was just more consistently kind of 6 out of 10 accurate, all 3 levels, while Cohen had a lot of success underneath, but could not seem to hit his receivers in stride more than 20 yards down the field. Now, when asked if after preseason, Coach McLean was willing to name his Week 1 starter, McLean declined to answer, stating competitive advantage against the Raiders as his reason that he will not be naming a starter, and no one will know, not even the players themselves, until that first drive is out onto the field in Week 1 against the Raiders. That's all I've got for this edition of Inside the Madden NFL, previewing the London Black Knights ahead of the 2025 season. You will see them play for the first time next week against the Las Vegas Raiders, and I will see you then.